Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tony and the channel is Tony Talks Cards. This may be a little bit longer episode. Hopefully it's not going to go more than 20-25 minutes, but I want to talk about three big things. First is my plans for Chicago, the National coming up. I want to talk about two big events I'm excited to attend that others have been talking about as well on the YouTube community, and go through a couple kind of tips and tricks that I've learned and want to maybe share with those who are maybe going to their first national or first big show in a long time. At least have helped me in how I collect to feel more prepared for the show itself. So first off, I'll be there flying in Wednesday afternoon. I'll be there all day Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Originally, I wasn't going to stay all day Saturday. I was going to leave like at 4 p.m. on Saturday, head back home to Arizona. But then I saw that Vintage Trade Night was happening, and I was like, "Oh man!" It looked so much fun in the Strongsville videos, seeing all the trade night videos, the people there, the fun they were having. And so I said, well, I've got a place to stay with my buddy. One extra night's not too much more. Looked at flights and ended up changing my flight from Saturday to Sunday. So I'll be there all day Saturday for the trade night, leaving Sunday morning like at 7:30 from O'Hare. So very happy we got that fix made and to be at the trade night. So on that note, obviously I've mentioned it already, but want to shout out Vintage Trade Night, the first trade night I think that we've ever had at a national, sponsored by Four Collectors and a few other dealers who are going to be there. So thank you, Four Collectors, for hosting this and putting this on and telling us about this. It's going to be at, I think, 6 o'clock, 6:15 in the Stevens Center in another room, I think, after the National on Saturday night. So be there. I'll be there as well. Look forward to meeting all of you who can attend and seeing what cool cards you have for trade or for sale. Also, I've, again, been to the National a few times, but never knew there was stuff outside of the show hours to do, which seems silly, but never realized that was part of the experience of being there. So I want to thank Mike, Baseball Collector, for putting on, again, it sounds like the YouTube get-together Thursday night. So that YouTube meetup is going to be Thursday night at, I think, 6:15 over at Embassy Suites, which is across the road from the Stevens Center, I believe. So looking forward to meeting a bunch of other folks who have channels, don't have channels, who've commented and just want to be there and talk cards and talk the hobby and what you're into, what you're buying, what you want to buy the next day, and putting faces to names and shaking hands and just seeing people in real life. So again, never knew this existed prior to being on YouTube about 8 months ago. So I was more of a kind of a lone wolf, and I still will be a lone wolf, more walking down the road looking for cards, and I'll say hi to people, of course, and vice versa, but more of like go there, buy the cards, enjoy the scenery, and then go home. Had no idea this was going on. So again, I look forward to being part of those two events. Again, Vintage Trade Night Saturday night at 6:15, I believe, in the Stevens Center, different room. And then the YouTube get together at the Embassy Suites across the road on Thursday evening. So if you see me, say hi. I'd love to say hi to meet you as well. But lastly, I want to talk about some things that have helped me going to the National in the past. Maybe they'll help you as well. Maybe you already know and have your list of things to do and be aware of. But I like to keep lists of things, and these kind of helped me, I think, have a better show last year, and maybe will help you enjoy it if you haven't been to a national or a big show like this in a long time or ever. So give me a second here. I'm going to pull up my list I have, and hopefully it won't take too long to go through my 20 or 21 items here. So you pull up my list on my side. Just 1 second here. I got it. Sorry, it's not the best. Got it going on right now. So perfect. Number one, bring a list. I'm a list person. I have a list of like 600 things I'd like to buy, but won't get them all at this show. For me, I like to take a list both in hard copy and in Google Drive format. So I'll keep a list in hard copy to kind of scratch off when I'm done with cards. I'll write down the comps or what they're going for recently, or maybe just where I may have seen that card before. I'll take, let's say, hey, I saw this card at store table number 123. Write that down. This dealer was near the bathroom. I'll take a picture of like his table, maybe the table number, maybe like the aisle number it's next to, or maybe something eye-catching next to his table, right? So I kind of know where to come and find that table again. But I keep a lot of handwritten notes on these lists. So if you have that, I encourage you to do that too. But certainly for ease of not holding something, I keep it on Google Doc as well. So definitely do whatever works for you on that as well. I also bring a list of things I already have. So I've been known to buy things I already have. So if I bring a list of, I already have card number this, right? I'm in Chicago. I'm knee deep going through a box of cards. I think this card looks kind of different. Maybe I don't think I've seen this card before. I'll buy it for a couple bucks, come home, already have the card. So sometimes, depending on what you're getting into and what you want to buy and what kind of area of the hobby you're getting into, take a list of what you already have as maybe a way to prevent you from buying a card twice. Bring a phone charger, bring a backup battery pack. You never know when your battery and your phone may fail at the wrong time. Pulling up your Google sheet with all your cards on it, or trying to make a phone call, text somebody, pull up a comp somewhere. You want a full battery when you're doing that. Real nuts and bolts, like for me at least, bring a budget. I bring my budget in cash. I've gone the last couple of years and found I can get a lot of deals done with cash versus like having to swipe a credit card. The dealers, again, have to incur fees when they take credit cards. And sometimes the internet's spotty or people are on the Wi-Fi at the same time. I've heard stories of people not being able to complete credit card transactions or debit card transactions because the Wi-Fi is not working, right? Even PayPal, Venmo, getting that transfer to go through may take some time with a delay if something on the Wi-Fi the signal is going slow. So keep that in mind as well. And in my experience, only my experience, usually if I have cash with me, I can find a little better of a deal. If I offer a strong offer with cash, I've tended to be successful with doing that. So keep that in mind as well. Also, one thing I found too is when dealers, right, they usually have a stock of cash with them to buy, to make change, to buy collections, buy cards to come up to their table, right? But if you use cash to buy from a dealer, that dealer has that much more cash to then go and make deals on their own after you leave, potentially, right? Now, they probably have cash before you got to their table, but in case they didn't, you giving them cash helps them with future deals they may make as well. So keep that in mind maybe as well too. Again, cash is easy because it avoids fees. It's fast. They have ATMs in Chicago, like most places would. But again, ATMs charge transaction fees at your bank, at the ATM's own fee they charge, right? And the ATM I went to once in Chicago, if I'm at a certain place in the show, like way over here, it's like a 10-minute walk more to get from this far into the show to the ATM. And maybe I don't want to walk that far to risk losing the card I'm going to buy at the table. Or you go to get the money at the ATM, you come back, and the card's gone. Or the dealer's busy, and something's happened, right? So having your budget in cash is something I'm going to do this year so that I don't have to go back to the ATM to find something if I'm in the midst of doing a deal. One thing I've done as well, I have my budget in cash. I also have a little extra more than my budget in a PayPal account or Venmo account. I don't plan to use that extra cushion, but in case something just speaks to me, that extra cushion can be used to, again, assuming the Wi-Fi works, right, and the internet transactions work, right? I could have my cash, if I use up all my cash up, have that PayPal or Venmo account to also kind of buy a few extra things if the mood strikes me. Now, again, those two amounts combined together are my budget. They're part of my personal financial planning. They aren't going to risk the rent, the mortgage, the car payment, things like that. They're things I'm okay spending, but most is in cash and a little bit on the sides in more of an electronic format, just in case that comes in handy later down the road too. So keep that in mind if that may help you out as well. I usually have a backpack on. In my backpack, usually I have water, snacks, extra snacks, extra water. I also bring things like cardboard storage boxes, tape, bubble wrap, card sleeves, rigid card holders, top loaders. If I buy a card and they just give it to me in a penny sleeve, I'm like, well, I don't want to put this in the backpack and have it like jostling around back there, getting bent up or messed up, right? So I'll keep bubble wrap, put the card in a top loader, in a cardboard box, maybe with some bubble wrap around it or a bunch of cards, right, to keep it tight together while I'm moving around the show. So keep that in mind. Maybe that may help you as well. Last time I went in 2023, I bought a bunch of boxes. So I still am, but was more into back then, unopened boxes of cards like junk wax, mid 80s, late 80s, early 90s boxes of football and baseball cards. If you're between like 40 and 50, you know those things are heavy. Like 36 packs of cards, 15 cards each, in a big box like this big, that's some weight to it. And I was carrying like 3 or 4 of those around on my back, stupidly, for a while. And that takes a toll on your shoulders, your back, your mood. You may be grumpy more because of that. So If you're bringing money to buy large boxes like that, maybe one could be in your back, but even that's a lot to carry around for a couple of days or a day. Bring a suitcase, bring a rolling cart of some sort. Or if you know that's going to be an issue, I think they have a post office or a FedEx place on site in the Stevens Center. You can also buy a bunch of boxes, pack them up, and mail them back to yourself if you had to, right? Just a way to not carry it on your back. So keep that in mind too. But even if you're buying single cards that don't weigh a lot, having a backpack on for 2, 3, 4 days straight, your back, you're hurt, your shoulders are going to hurt, your knees and ankles and legs and feet. So all that adds to just the walking around. So keep that in mind. Bring some Advil for aches and pains beyond the water and the snacks there for sure. Have good shoes. Don't bring the shoes you mow the grass in on Saturday. Bring some shoes with real cushion on them, insoles. Bring comfortable clothes. In the past, last year, the AC wasn't working one of the days. And in July, in August in Chicago, it's kind of sweaty, kind of humid. And if the AC is not pumping at full blast, but a bunch of women and men and guys and kids walking around, bumping into each other, buying cards in a big space, but it's also kind of tiny. When you think about how many people are in this space buying cards, you get kind of sweaty, a little upset, a little frustrated, right? You're bumping into people. So bring comfortable clothes, comfortable shoes, bring a backpack that feels good for you on your shoulders, on your back. Like, test these things out, because if you're going to be there for a couple days, take a break too, but you'll be walking on your feet a lot more than you think, whether it's standing in line waiting to talk to a dealer or walking up and down this hard concrete floor. Walking on concrete floors, even if you keep moving, that does a number on your joints, right? Your ankles, your back, your shoulders, your knees, your waist, your hips, all that stuff kind of starts hurting after a day or so. So keep all that in mind too. Internet can be spotty. Like I said, internet can be a little bit rough in some areas. I've seen some areas where a dealer couldn't accept a PayPal because they weren't connecting to the other guy's account. The Wi-Fi was down, or they couldn't accept card transactions because the Wi-Fi was slow. So again, cash is key, but keep that in mind. If you keep a list, going back to my first point, have a Google Doc. That's great. I always have that. It's a backup. But I always keep a hard copy list with me, because you never know when that Wi-Fi is slow. You want to look at your list, not be frustrated you can't find the cards you want on your shared drive. So keep that in mind too. Keep a list of vendors that you want to go to. Keep a list of vendors. Maybe for me specifically, I kept a list of vendors I liked from last year. I bought from 6 or 7 of them last year. I kept a list of their names, and I went on an app that was made this year for the show and found those same vendors on the app and did a little gold star next to their table, so I know where to find them this year too. Now, they may not have anything I want this year, but I knew I bought from them. They were nice guys. We had good deals last year. They were nice to deal with, had a good quality of cards I liked and still like today in 2025. So write down those vendors, because you may find them at next year's National or next year's Strongville, or maybe they're from the same town you live in and you want to go see them in person too. So again, I write down things manually on my hard copy list as well for that purpose too. Write down the aisle, the table, take a picture of the table, the cards, the dealer himself maybe, the number on the table, the aisle you're walking in. All that can be useful to kind of coordinate where you found that table in case you get lost later too. This is a tough one, this next tip, I guess. You've got a budget, you want to stick to your budget, right? And you don't want to use all your budget up on table number 1, like at Wednesday at 4 p.m., my budget's all gone. You don't want to do that. But you got to balance the thought of, if I'm there to buy 1 or 2 or 3 cards and I find them early on day 1 or 2, do you buy them then, or do you go and walk the whole show and come back to that first table maybe a day later or 8 hours later, whatever? The card may be gone. So there's a risk in that, right? So it's tough to know what to do for you. But for me, I'll probably walk around the show once and then buy something. Of all the cards on my list, none of them have to have them in Chicago or else. I'll be sad if I don't get some of the cards I'd like to get. I'd be sad, but I also know there's lots of copies out there. There's lots of cards of what I want to get, but is it the right copy for me? I've got to think that, right? So I'll buy something. I'll buy lots of things, don't get me wrong, but the cards on my list may not be the ones I buy. Maybe I'll be inspired by something else that's so beautiful and appealing I never thought I would want to buy that. And I see that, way back deep in the show, But if I spent all my budget at that first couple of tables on the first day, maybe I would have wished I would have waited longer, right? But it's both sides of my mouth I'm talking out of, right? I can debate club both sides of that argument of buying it all when you see it, because the card you really love and want, or waiting and being patient to get that better deal. So I guess that's a non-answer, but it's up to you. But just keep all that stuff in mind as you think about what you want to go after. There will be lines and crowds, right? There's lots of people there. Friday is a huge day. Saturday is the weekend. It's a big day as well. It's a massive room. And even if the AC is working full bore, it's freezing cold. You've got a bunch of people with body heat walking around, jostling each other, backpacks and scooters and push carts, and just people around, right? You're going to bump into people. Lines may be long to the bathroom, the food, the entry lines, all that stuff. Just keep an eye on your stuff, right? Don't have your cards hanging out, your cash hanging out. This is like, duh, Tony, of course. This is like 101 when you travel. Don't be conspicuous. But you may get lost in looking at the cards and the lights and the tables, the displays, right? Keep stuff with you. Keep stuff close and tight. And just be aware, you will bump into people and shoulder to shoulder people, and that may be uncomfortable for you. So wear comfortable clothes and shoes, and don't have a heavy backpack on. All those things kind of go and snowball into how are you feeling. And if you're feeling frustrated or down or tired or hurt, you may not have a good time. But you got to think about that and say, okay, how do I make myself as comfortable as possible to not be maybe stressed or rushed to buy that card or feel like you're being left out of something, right? Just be aware it's going to be a lot of noise and sounds and people around. And the table you may want to get to has a line in front of it. Be patient, wait for it, maybe walk around, come back the next time. And just be patient with that stuff, I guess is all I would say. So as you talk to dealers, of course, it's probably as obvious 101 people skills, right? But say hi. How you doing? How's the show going for you? You're busy. You've selling a lot of cards. What are you into? What have you picked up recently? What do you like? What team do you root for? I see you have a bunch of stuff over here. Where'd you get that? Just talk to people, right? And that's not meaning you're going to get a good deal from the dealer, but at least being courteous and nice can go a long way if you want to eventually do a deal with that person. Maybe offer a bit below what their asking price is. Going in with niceness and politeness goes a long way sometimes. It's obvious, but it's good to say it out loud too. I was there in Chicago for 2 days in 2023. I still felt like I missed a table or two. There's so many tables there. Even if you're there and just walk up and down, you may not see everything you want to see. And just be okay. Be patient. Enjoy the walk. Enjoy the stroll around the Stevens Center in Rosemont. Again, there'll be a lot of tables that if you're like me and you like vintage, baseball, football, unopened boxes, unopened packs of cards, right? That's a niche thing. That's a niche thing too. So is vintage in some cases as well. You may see a whole line of 5 straight tables with Pokemon on them. Go right past those tables, right? And you're kind of being more efficient walking the show. So, but yeah, I'm even walking the show for 2 days. I probably missed something because there's so many tables, so many people in front of the dealers. You can't see around people. You may have missed a table, missed a whole case you didn't know even existed because someone was there. And that's okay. Just be patient, walk around, enjoy the experience, enjoy the process, enjoy the museum-like quality of being at that show. One thing I did consider the first time I went. So there's a risk of buying things that are bulky and heavy. So 2 stories. One, I went to this national last year. I bought a ton of unopened wax boxes. I said they're heavy. They're in my backpack. My back was hurting. I managed to. I got through. I was good. I brought an extra suitcase to pack the boxes in. No issue. Suitcase wasn't heavy. Wasn't charged extra for the baggage fees. It was all good, right? Got to the airport. Went to TSA. The suitcase went through, and they flagged it. They see a bunch of wrapped things, right? Wrapped wax boxes of cards. And they're like, what is this? Thinking it could be something bad, drugs or something, right? I'm like, oh, no, don't open my cards. They're all sealed on purpose. Don't open them. They didn't. And the TSA agent made a joke like, I've seen a bunch of things like this in these suitcases, a bunch of like baseball and football boxes. Is there something going on in Chicago? And I'm like, yeah, there's a big card show down the road. People are probably buying boxes of cards, breaking them home in their suitcases, and please don't open them. They're not anything bad. And she didn't. We had a joke about it, but I didn't think about them being opened. I'm like, oh, don't open my boxes. Don't ruin them. I brought them all this way. but it worked out okay. So think about that if you're buying things that you don't want open that are sealed. If TSA checks them, they could poke them a little bit and see what's in their suitcase, right? Secondly, my first national I went to, I bought a bat, a baseball bat. Well, the suitcase I brought with me to the show from Arizona was not wide enough for the bat. So I had to borrow my friend's suitcase to put the bat in with this other stuff that I bought and take my clothes home with the bat in his suitcase. So if you're buying something and flying to Chicago that could be oversized, think about the suitcases you bring, the box and bags you bring, just to make sure you've thought through logistics of what you're going to buy and bring home with you. If you're driving from Indiana, stuff your trunk wherever you want to. Bats and baseball gloves and boxes, it's all good. It's in your own car, right? But if you fly somewhere, think about the risks of flying and security and all that stuff when buying stuff at the card show. Last two things. Someone's always going to have more money to spend than you. Someone's always going to have a bigger budget, buying bigger, nicer, cooler cards than you have budget for. We're all in different lanes. We're all in different sides of the hobby. Enjoy what you like. Enjoy what you're collecting. And there's an old adage, right, that comparison is the thief of joy. Someone's always going to have a bigger card than you, more budget than you, maybe standing next to you at the card show, at the table, or maybe at a gathering at the show in Chicago. Be happy for them. That's what they're spending their money on. They're enjoying their collection. You do you. They do that, what they do. And be happy. Don't compare yourself to other people. That's a tough one sometimes. For me, go to the meetups, go to the hangouts. I mentioned the YouTube get-together on Thursday night. Thank you, Mike, baseball collector. For collectors, thank you for sponsoring along with other folks. The vintage trade night, I will be there on Saturday. Would not miss that for the world. If you see me, say hi. Hopefully I look the same as I do on camera. I guess we'll see. Stop by, tap me on the shoulder, shake my hand, do whatever. Love to meet you and talk to you and exchange stories about what we're buying, what I'm into these days, and get to know you more also out there too. Anyone who I haven't met yet, love to meet you. Drive safe, travel safe. Those are my tips. Oh, my last tip is actually enjoy the smells. Enjoy the cardboard smell in Chicago. The old musty smell of old cards, old things. I love it. Takes me back to local card shops and my old cards I have still in my collection. So enjoy that. Be safe, travel getting there. See you soon and take care. Thanks.